What's happening, fellas? So I was actually going to do this review a couple of days ago, but I honestly just kind of put it off just because I got busy with a little bit. But um, yeah, I'm gonna be actually talking about the South Park Pandemic Special. So right off the bat, before I even get into the review, all I'm going to say is that this episode is shamefully honest. First off, you hear Randy talking about like, oh, do you even know anybody who has COVID personally? And we've met those people, I'm sure you have. And he has this thing that's actually connected to the title, like where the title comes from, called the Pandemic Special, which is like, something that's associated with his like weed business. And then we get Cartman, who is just Cartman in this. It touches up upon the whole online schooling thing. Like he'll fake glitches when it's time for school. Like he'll block off his like webcam and shit, and then like make like glitching sounds, and then he'll turn his webcam on, and it's just like a picture of him, just so that like everybody just thinks he's frozen. So he does that kind of shit. He has this like little staff thing with like a number 6 painted on it, where he just like he'll be like walking down the street, or somebody will be like jogging past him and like hold it out, like blocking them so that they won't like touch him. And it's just Cartman. And another thing that I really want to mention is that this whole pandemic special isn't even about just strictly COVID. It's just about 2020. You get things about police brutality and racism, and then you get like the whole bits on like quarantine, and then like the whole toilet paper hoarding, and there's even like segments with like mountains being on fire. Like this is basically just South Park's take on 2020 in a nutshell. Here's something I'm gonna try not to spoil too much, but you see where the pandemic comes from in South Park's eyes, and in that sense, you see a lot of Randy. Like you see, you see where the pandemic starts, and how it follows, and as well as like just South Park just keeping up with the events of 2020 again. And they go about it in ways that you both would expect, that are really satisfying, and ways that you wouldn't expect that are just kind of like a downfall. Like as far as like where the pandemic comes from in this special is, I think, the most full-blown, not only in the episode, but maybe in a sense that South Park has ever gone to, which again was very in a sixth sense like kind of satisfying, because it's like, wow, this is South Park like giving it their all and being what people know of South Park. And then there's times in the episodes where like for example, like after this episode was done, after the special was done, I look back on it and I'm like, other than the sense of like the pandemic touch of it, there's really nothing that's not necessarily memorable, but like there's really not much that really offered in this season or in this episode. But one thing I do want to mention is that it does touch up on some sensitivity. Like you see the kind of like emotional side of things, and how people are taking this pandemic in a kind of like anxious way, and like just kind of like an adjustment sort of way. So you see some parts of South Park that are actually pretty hitting. And while I do think that's necessary and appropriate, I think that with what it started as, and maybe like with the hype and the fact that this is just kind of like the I think like first episode of the season, and as well as like just the wait that we've been waiting for since this like thing started, because I was one of those people where it was like, oh, I can't wait to see what South Park does with this, and we all knew this was coming. And again, for an hour's special, and for what South Park like for what South Park usually aims at and how sick they are, this episode, yeah, it has that in it, but like you look back on it, it's like, okay, I don't know if they're just like kind of lowering their shit, or if they're just maturing. So in a way, it's kind of like, it's not necessarily a bad episode. It's just, there are people that are going to expect something, and there are going to be people that aren't going to get that. Overall, I don't think this was worth the wait personally. It has its moments, touches on everything to some degree, but for South Park and the wait and hype, this kind of underdelivered. And I'm feeling a solid 5.8 out of 10. So before I continue with this video, I'm actually going to bring in a guest. I'm going to be bringing in Jacob Johnson, who is actually my co-star with Pragmatophobia. So I'm here with Jacob Johnson now. He's my co-star of Pragmatophobia, actually, and we're just going to be talking about the pandemic special. So what do you want to say about this pandemic special first?
Well, I'm going to just straight out say it. Some of the jokes were a little bit outdated, like the toilet paper thing.
Yeah, and that's what I had mentioned. I had mentioned that, it does touch up on pretty much everything in 2020. Like, it's not just the pandemic, it's everything from, like, the police brutality to the racism and, again, like, the toilet paper thing. And I'm just kind of like, my thoughts overall was that I thought it offered a lot that fans wanted, but for a special and for something that they've had literally all year to fucking plot out, I was just kind of, like, disappointed in a lot of aspects, too.
Also, where's Tally? You know, he was working with Randy. You know, I saw all the seasons, and I don't know how many of you seen the previous seasons, but Tally works with Randy, and he wasn't anywhere in that episode.
I totally forgot about Tally, honestly.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's just my take on it, is that it was just like, again, yeah, it offers a lot that people want, but overall, I don't think that it was nearly what it could have been.
I was a little disappointed that there was a tease at there being a Mr. Slave appearance. You know, because who doesn't laugh when we see Mr. Slave?
I don't even know who Mr. Slave is. I mean, I like South Park, but I ain't no fan.
You don't know who Mr. Slave is?
I don't know Mr. Slave. I think the last episode I watched of South Park, okay, no, not the last episode, but I think the last time I was actually, like, connected with South Park was, like, 2013, 2014, the one where you see, like, is it Stan's dad who's, like, Lord?
Wait, that's the last time you watched it?
That's the last full season I watched. I've seen the episodes here and there, but, yeah, I play the video games, too, but, yeah, I gotta get caught up.
You need to know who Mr. Slave is.
But yeah, overall, how did you feel about this episode personally?
You know, my rating system is a lot different than yours, Stu.
Mine's better.
But usually I do it 5. Up the highest would be a 5, and quite frankly, this episode's nowhere near a 5. It's, if anything, it deserves a 1.5, in my opinion.
Ooh, man, you really didn't like this episode, did you?
The only thing I liked about it was the "Where's the penguin" thing. It looks like a funny meme. Where's the penguin?
And that's what I'm saying. I look back at the episode overall after it was finished, and I'm like, there was some naughty shit in this. And then, like, I look back at it beyond that, and I'm like, there was really not much there. You know? Like, it was just kind of like, it was like South Park knew that fans were wanting this. Like, okay, we gotta do this. And it's like, they waited till, like, last minute to do it. And, like, I get it, they were probably just, like I had stated in my reviews, like, they were following along with 2020. They're, like, taking notes, like, since March till now. But, like, everything that they did touch on, it was just kind of like, we just have to include it. So, yeah. I feel a solid 5.8.
Still 1.5. I'm a little disappointed, you know?
That's fair, yeah.
I waited an entire year just to see that.
And again, I was just one of those people, like, since March, like, before we even knew how to spell coronavirus, like, when this thing happened, people were like, so what do you think of it? I'm like, dude, I can't wait to see South Park's take on this. But, now I'm kind of hoping that they do a take on the election, on the debate.
Oh, me too.
Ooh, don't disappoint, South Park. Don't disappoint. But, yeah, that is our thoughts on the pandemic special. So let me know what you guys thought about this, who did see it. We actually caught it on HBO Max. It was there, I think, like, the day after it released. They threw it on there. But, yeah, that's where we viewed it. So if you guys have HBO Max, maybe check it out and just let us know in the comments below what you guys thought of it. But that has been our review on the pandemic special. And again, this is Jacob Johnson. He plays Josh, actually, in Pragmatophobia. And speaking of Pragmatophobia, we're having a full cast and crew update within the next couple weeks. So really looking forward to that. And yeah, this has been the review. So let me know, again, what you guys thought. Sorry, this video did take a little bit to release. There were just a few things I had to do. Doing final touches on a Parasite review as well. So that will be the next video. And yeah, you guys have a great day, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. We'll see you in the next one.